Good morning, warrior. As the sun rises today, I ask you to think about the path you're walking. What kind of legacy will you leave behind? Will it be remembered for the words you speak or the actions you take? Today, I want to share with you a story, a lesson that comes from my final days after the battle at Thermopylae. It is a story of words, but more importantly, of deeds. Because, as you will hear, your true legacy is built through what you do, not just what you say. After the battle, after the blood had been spilled and the dust had settled, there was one thing that remained: the story of what had happened. The world would know of the 300 Spartans and their sacrifice, but only because a man named Herodotus promised to carry our story forward. He was a historian, a keeper of memories, and he understood that history could be forgotten if not spoken of. Herodotus, who had not been at the battle himself, came to me with a pledge. "King Leonidas," he said, "I will make sure your story lives on. The world will know the courage of your men and the reason for their stand." He did not speak of glory. He spoke of truth. He promised to record our deeds, not because they were grand, but because they held meaning. They were actions worth remembering. I looked into his eyes and understood. Words alone would not carry our legacy. It was the deeds of my men, their courage, their willingness to face death without fear, that would be remembered. That, not the speeches or promises, was the real power. I told him that a story could only be valuable if it teaches others to live, and that the true measure of a man's life is in the example he leaves behind. As the days passed, and I thought on our struggle, I came to realize something. Every warrior who fought alongside me did not do so for fame or riches. They fought because they believed in something greater than themselves: the protection of our land, the defense of our people, the ideals of Sparta. They fought not for the words of others, but for the deeds they could leave behind. One such man, Leonidas, stood out to me. He had once said, "If the Persians were so numerous, then we shall have more glory to gain." His words were bold, yes, but it was his actions that spoke the loudest. He stood at the front, with no fear in his heart, as we faced overwhelming odds. When the time came, his shield was the first to meet the Persian spears, and his courage inspired those around him. He did not ask for stories to be told of him, nor did he expect the world to remember his name. He acted, and his action spoke far more powerfully than any word could. That is what I want you to remember. What you do today is far more important than what you say. When you walk through this life, do so with purpose. Let your actions speak louder than your promises. When I think of Leonidas, I don't think of his words. I think of his bravery, of the way he faced death without hesitation. That is how he will be remembered. I have known many men who spoke of glory, who spoke of greatness, but their words were hollow, for they did nothing to earn what they promised. Glory is not given to those who speak of it. It is earned by those who live by it. In the days following the battle, many came to speak of our sacrifice, but it was not in their words that our legacy lived. It was in the actions of my men, their courage in the face of death, their loyalty to one another, and their unwavering belief in the cause. You too must live your life this way. Words will fade, promises will be broken, but actions, true actions, will echo through the ages. What will your story be? Will it be remembered because of what you said, or because of what you did? Warrior, as you walk through this day, think about your own legacy. What will be said of you when you are gone? Will people remember you for your words or for your deeds? Will you speak of honor, or will you live it? Do not wait for others to write your story. You must write it yourself through your actions. Live in a way that others can learn from you. The true test of your character will not come from the promises you make, but from the battles you fight, the sacrifices you endure, and the legacy you leave behind. Go forth today, not to speak of glory, but to act with it in your heart. Your legacy is being forged in every moment.